Okay, hi guys. I've never done a live before in my life. I have no idea what the sound quality of this is like. We're just testing this out, which is why I'm going live at a really strange time of the day for here in the UK. I don't really care if anybody joins this. I just want to trial this out in this sort of format for doing my readings. I had been doing like written textual readings for Instagram and like super speedy ones on TikTok, but it's just not enough time. So I thought I would give the lives a go, or I might pre-record them if live isn't going to work, but we'll see how we go today. So let's just dive in. So this is going to be a reading for the energy for the rest of this week, from the 12th to the 18th, I think it is, of September for the collective. As always, whenever I'm doing these readings, take what resonates, leave what does not. Everybody's got different versions of their truth and have got different things that are going to resonate with them at different times. Okay, so don't grip to everything just because you heard a reader say something. Only take what resonates and leave what doesn't. So we'll just start with a quick tune in with spirit. Dear spirit, ancestors, guides, beings of unconditional love, I ask for your divine guidance and wisdom, love and healing energy to bring forth messages for the collective. I thank you for your wisdom and your guidance. Okay, what messages do we have for the collective for this week, the 12th or the 18th? I feel like there's a card the wrong way in here. I feel like I keep getting a glimpse of something, but maybe I'm wrong. We have 3 cards, I think. 3 more cards, please, Spirit. What's going on in the collective 12th to the 18th? What else? Okay. So we'll start with bottom of the deck with Breath of the Cosmos, my will to thy will. Micromanaging the universe. I always really love this card. I feel like it's a massive sign to let go. It's release control. Stop trying to have all the plans and work everything out. Like, that's actually not our job. Our job is to dream and to desire. Think of the universe almost as like your PA. You tell the universe what you want. I desire this. I desire that. And the universe goes, okay, give me a minute. I'll take it away and I'll figure out the best way to make it happen. It's like if you had a PA and you said to your PA, can they arrange a trip for you to go to Barbados? You wouldn't keep checking on them saying, did you make sure I caught this flight here at 12:25 p.m. and then this flight here? Because actually there might just be a direct flight at a different time. And that's the same principle. You trust that your PA is going to get the job done in the best way possible. And you need to trust when you give your desires to the universe is going to find the best way possible to do it. Every time you put a desire out to the universe with a plan on how to do it, for example, I really want to get this promotion. I really want to get this job with this company, but that actually might not be the best company for you to have that job at. There might actually be something better, or there might be a better way for you to go about something, but you can't see that because our earthly realms have got such a limited view on what's going on. So imagine this is like the width of our view. This is what's within our peripheral. These are all the things that we're kind of aware of that we think we can construct in certain ways to make a plan of. But what we don't know, that just outside of our peripheral awareness, there's something here that's like the answer to what we're looking for that just needs to be pulled in, but we can't see it because it's outside of our awareness. But the universe has this bird's eye view of everything, and it can, and that's how it orchestrates the best things possible. And you have to trust it. You don't know the best way possible to make your dreams happen because you have a limited view. So we start the reading off with surrendering the need to know how things are going to happen. Just know that they will happen, and know that if you desire them and you have requested them, that the universe will deliver it in the best way possible. And it's important to remember as well that sometimes the universe brings you a little bit of what you want, but it's not quite right. And it's not that the universe hasn't brought you what you want. It might be that you've actually given the universe kind of a a broad or a very unclear description of what it is that you want. And so the universe goes, okay, you've given me like a ballpark of what you want, but there's a load of details in between that I need to define in order to know what the best thing for you is. So it might bring you something of that caliber, but it might not be exactly right. And you go, that was almost there, but I don't want that thing. I want something else. The universe goes, oh, okay, I see now. Okay, so I'll take that away and then I'll bring you something else. And sometimes you might do this sort of kind of getting what you want, but not 100%, a couple times over until your vision and your desire is actually really clear. To put that into like a proper example, let's just say you said to the universe, oh, I want my own place. And the universe brings to you, I don't know, a 1-bed flat, and you go, well, that's great, universe, it's within my budget, but I've got, I don't know, a kid or something, I actually need a 2-bedroom property. And the universe goes, oh, okay. So the universe will go, you won't take that opportunity, and then maybe something else will come back around. This time a 2-bed might come back around, and it's a 2-bed, but it hasn't got a garden. You really want a garden, so you think, actually, I'd really like a garden. I really like that. It'd be just really great if I had a garden. And every time you keep adding these clarification details to your desire, the universe can keep bringing back the best thing possible for you. So bearing these things in mind, we start the reading off with stop trying to control everything and release control. Stop trying to control the journey. Stop trying to control how things happen. I'm not going to say stop planning. That's not necessarily the right thing, but stop being so rigid and strict with how things must happen and be more in flow. That's how we start this universe. And I'm looking at this card as well, and intuitively I'm reading, there's something about like infusing our environment with our energy. See the way she's kind of got like this breath that's coming out and swirling? I don't know why. It's giving me the energy I'm feeling is almost about like emanating your energy and your desires out into your environment. Yeah, I'm wanting to do this, like expand your energy out into your environment and infuse your environment with your energy, with your desires, but release control about how that will happen. But when you push the energy out of what you desire, when you're emanating your desire out, and not from a place of lack, remember, but from a place of desire. And I feel like this would be really great for my earthly experience. What you do is it's almost like a calling message out into the rest of, it's showing me it's like a beacon. When you emanate out the energy and the desire of what you would like, what you do is it's like a beacon. It almost ripples out. And then the things that match that frequency start pulling in. This is what I'm getting from that. We have to push the energy outwards. We need to expand it outwards into our environment, and it will call and magnetize in things of like energy. Let's see what other cards we have, because that's an interesting start. Release control, but it's almost like you've got a blank canvas. There's actually more to desire. If you take away the boundaries around how something must happen, your whole world opens up a bit more. And speaking on whole world opens up a bit more, the first card we have is cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. Big surrender vibe so far. Release control. It's almost like, okay, I'm hearing you're trying to keep everything together. Maybe that's why you've got these specific ways that things must happen, because you're trying to, I think this was similar to a reading I did a couple of weeks back. I feel like there's all these things in your life that are trying to sort of pull in different directions. And I think you feel like if they pull in these different directions, either you don't know how to cope and it might pull you apart. Imagine all these things almost attached to you, or you've got hold of all these little ropes in your hands and they're all attached to these different things that you're trying to keep control of, you're trying to keep the reins of, but they're slowly pulling in different directions and they're sort of spreading you apart, and they're spreading you thin, actually, is what I'm hearing. You're being spread thin by trying to control so many things. Instead of just letting things happen the way they're supposed to, you're constantly trying to keep control of everything. Nope, I'll do this. Nope, I've got control of this. Nope, nope, nope. And what you're doing is just spreading yourself thin. But you're spreading yourself so thin that you're starting to crack yourself apart. I'm hearing light leaks. So like where you're spreading yourself yourself so thin, like energy is kind of just seeping out of you, like you might be feeling really exhausted at the moment. It's almost like I'm hearing like you don't want yourself to unravel. You're scared to see what you look like if you unravel. If you uncompress and unwind yourself instead of stop being this perfect compressed version. I'm trying to articulate the words here. They're sort of trying to formulate in my mouth, but what I'm seeing is you've got all these layers of yourself that you put on in order to present yourself a certain way to the world. And these aren't necessarily natural layers. They're layers that you put on, and they're something that you, again, control. You present yourself in a very controlled certain way. You're not just being yourself. For example, when you go to work, most people when they're at work are a false version of themselves. Not 100%. I'm not saying they're completely not who they are. A lot of them is who they are. There's a lot of themselves that they don't bring to work because they don't feel like they can, or it's not professional. It might be frowned upon, or they don't want to, the corporate bullshit of hierarchy. Oh, I can't say that to that person, even though I'd really like to tell them that if they just did their job properly, blah, blah, blah. You don't say those things. So you put these, you compress parts of yourself to only present a certain version of yourself. And what I'm seeing is you're actually scared to remove these parts of you that actually you don't really want there. You just put them on to be pleasing to everybody else. And you're kind of scared to unravel and just allow yourself to be, because you're scared of also how that's going to impact everywhere else. So, but I'm seeing people are starting to unravel because they kind of almost have no other choice. They're exhausted. They can't keep going on the way that they've been going on. That you wanna start showing the real you to the world, and you're not even maybe sure who that is, but you just don't want to be the way that you've been. When you take these layers off and you uncompress, you start to reveal your inner light. You see how, you might not be able to see very well here, but it's kind of, she's glistening and she's like light inside, this person who's sort of taking off her mask, her skin suit, if you like. When you start taking this off, you shine so brightly. And sometimes you need to let things unravel, and it might seem a bit scary at first, but it's going to come together so beautifully. It's all going to make so much sense, and you're going to start to replenish and refill yourself. Surrender to the alchemy of life. That's what the card says. And it's really asking you to just stop trying to control everything and just allow everything to be, including yourself. Okay, that's a real big, I feel like that's a really potent message for this week. Just allow things to be. Allow yourself to be. Allow a scenario to be the way that it is. Allow people to be the way that they are. Stop trying to control everything. Stop trying to manage other people's emotions. Just be within your own sphere, okay? And I say that, and actually there is a sphere around her of energy, okay? Be within your own sphere and let everything else outside of that be its own thing as well, okay? There's also a thing about spheres here, because we've got 3 cards with kind of ball shaped structures on. We've got this one here, which has got like the sphere, and we've got this one here, which obviously has Earth, which is a sphere. But we'll come on to those. Then we have you're not alone, isolation, physical connection, community. This unraveling that you're doing, this releasing control, this surrendering to the way things are, not trying to keep hold of everything. Because a part of this is also maybe things are changing, on a global scale. A lot of things are changing. I mean, here in the UK, our dear Queenie just died, and we now have a king. That's a really big change. Most people alive in the UK have really only ever known the Queen. I mean, she was 96, so unless you're older than 96, which probably not many people, you have only ever known the Queen. So that's a real big change. How deep that change goes, I think, is a lot more profound than any of us realise. And I think energetically it sent some big ripples out. So it might be that you're fearing change because you think, no, this is the way it's always been. And you're fearing what's coming because you don't know what to expect. And so it makes you nervous. But I don't understand why all of our default reactions is to fear that what we don't understand. Why are we not curious? Oh, that's interesting. This is new. I wonder what that's going to be like, and actually feel excited. Instead, we always default to fear. I think part of that is an issue with the media. They're fear mongering all the time, because putting out an energy of fear keeps us small and compressed and disconnected from our higher selves. So whilst you're doing this unraveling, whilst you're slowly allowing yourself to just be and you're surrendering, you might actually feel maybe lonely. You might think that whilst you're taking these layers off of yourself, and maybe you're just allowing yourself to be instead of being this pleasing version that you always put on for everyone, you may feel that some people start to flake off. They can't handle the real you, or maybe they just don't like the real you. And do you know what? That's actually fine. That person isn't in alignment with who you really are. And you don't want those kinds of people in your life. And for some people, that might even be family. And I know that's really hard, but you should never change who you are just because somebody doesn't like it. Because being a false version of yourself just to keep someone in your life, that's just going to make you unhappy. And it's just not worth it. So you might feel lonely as you're starting to surrender and sort of release control of stuff. And as stuff's maybe going chaotic around you, perhaps, maybe you're someone who, you keep all these things together and you manage a lot of things for a lot of people, probably a lot of things maybe you shouldn't. But as you start to let them go and let people be responsible for their own things, maybe chaos unravels and maybe people start getting mad at you or whatever it is, you might start to feel quite lonely. And all this chaos around you might make you feel a bit frazzled. But you need to know you're actually not alone. And as more and more people are doing this uncompressing and this delayering of these sort of false versions of themselves, or these false aspects of themselves, and as people step more into their true nature and just be, when you're putting out your energy, your true energy of who you are, and you're just being, like I spoke at the beginning, and you're rippling that energy of who you really are out, other people who are in alignment with that vibration of you will draw in, which actually means you might be losing some people, only people out of vibration with your alignment. But what you will be doing is drawing in people who are within alignment to you. And so as you might lose some people, you gain new people. And actually, there's a thing about vulnerability here. I'm feeling like just being honest and speaking your truth actually will allow you to connect with people. And don't hold judgment about who you might connect with during this phase. It might be people you really don't expect. There might be people and you go, we're nothing alike. But actually, maybe you're really alike. And both of your false versions of yourselves think that you're not alike. But actually, at your core, your energy, your alignment, you are alike. And you might connect with people who almost seem they're the complete opposite to you. See how this is reflected? That's what I'm saying. You might connect with people who are the complete opposite with you. But I'm also hearing, you see this person at the top's in like white. This is almost like your higher self as well, sort of in a different realm. As you allow yourself to be, you strengthen and connect you strengthen your connection with your higher self. Community's big as well. There's something about groups of people coming together, communities coming together, but the right communities, all the people of like energy and like vibration are starting to commune together. They will start drawing together as they become just their pure vibration, their pure essence of who they really are, not these sort of distorted versions that they kind of have been creating and living in. It's going to start pulling different groups of people together, and it's going to start to create this mass, this ball of energy. I don't know why, that's what I'm getting from here. It's like a momentum of energy that builds as more people in their true nature start to draw close together. It's almost like the energy gets amplified. I'm feeling like electric zaps all over my body. This is really interesting. So this is interesting. And whilst I know this is a weekly reading, this feels like this is starting to unravel far further than this week. All of these themes are far further than this week. So we'll just keep going. Earth pulsing, pulse of the mother, slow down, time in nature. Wow, this card is just everything that I've been feeling really since the beginning of this year. And as the year goes on, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. I mean, I think I actually did an Instagram post yesterday that literally said, I'm feeling so, as the year progresses, I'm feeling more and more drawn back into nature and back to my roots, like our roots as a humanity, because I feel like we're we're quite lost at the moment, and we're very disconnected with nature and nature's cycles, and actually we need to be connected to nature and nature's cycles. So time in nature is very interesting, and I feel like this whole card, can you see how simple it is? You've just got like this greenery, the mountains, a valley. There's actually an energy body here. Can you see this just lying on the bed of flowers? This is talking about, getting back to our roots, simplifying our lives, being in nature's cycle, grounding, and pulse of the mother, slow down. Slow down is really talking about how we need to slow our lives down. We need to go back to slow living. We need to slow down how chaotic our lives were. I mean, I was actually speaking to my partner yesterday saying how I actually feel overwhelmed with the fact that I haven't got a single weekend just to do what I want to do, a single weekend free up until nearly the end of October, like for 7 weeks. There is something social on every single weekend for 7 weeks. How are you supposed to, on top of work, on top of trying to maintain your home, maybe you've got kids and pets that also obviously take a lot of commitment and time from you, keeping up with family and things like that, and then trying to see all your friends? Where do you, in that time, get space for yourself? Get space and time for self-care, to fill your own cup, to think about what you want, to go inwards, to reflect, to ground? Where do you get that time? I feel like our lives have become so hectic and so busy that we're constantly on, always doing. And that people now associate, if you're resting, you're lazy. And that if you are resting, there's like a dedicated time for you to rest before it's too much rest. And I just find all of it just bullshit, to be honest with you. It makes me actually quite angry. We need to slow down. Life is too busy. We need to go back to simple living. You don't need to be doing something every weekend. You don't always need to be connecting in with people. It's okay to say no to events and take time for yourself. It's also okay for you to prioritize your own needs over everyone else. Don't worry if you think someone's going to get upset because you don't see them. Well, are you going to prioritize their needs over your needs? If you need rest, are you going to devoid yourself of that rest to go see that friend to keep them happy, but you're now exhausted and unhappy? If we all start prioritizing ourselves and our needs, we would all be so much happier, and it would ripple out onto everyone else. Everything would be in so much more harmony. We need to slow down. We need to connect back with nature. We need to get back into nature's rhythms. Pulse of the mother, it's getting back and moving with the rate at which Mother Earth moves. Mother Earth has seasons. She has seasons when she's in full bloom. She has seasons when she's starting to wither. And then she has seasons when she's introverted and she's bare and she's naked and she's sort of inward. And then she has seasons where she comes out again. And we need to honour that within ourselves. This is particularly hitting on a theme as well that I have sort of noticed. And I seem to be noticing more and more environment around me. And that's also probably because it's something that's becoming bigger and bigger in my own awareness. And so therefore I'm noticing it more and more outside of myself, is how women have a second rhythm, an infradian rhythm. So everyone has a circadian rhythm, which is a 24-hour clock in which their body operates on. And there are certain times where you're better off doing certain activities. But women also have an infradian rhythm, and we don't get taught about that. And it does lay on our menstrual cycle. And the world is set up in a 24-hour circadian rhythm, but menstruating women have another more dominant rhythm, and that is out of whack because we don't live with it. Equally, Mother Earth has a rhythm, and we need to start getting in sync with all of these different rhythms. This is a whole thing. This is really a whole thing. I don't want to touch on it for too long in this video, but there's a whole thing about slowing down. Maybe if you can this week, take time and find space to just connect in with yourself. Maybe go outside and put your bare feet on the earth. If you live somewhere where it's muddy and that's not really available, maybe you can just get outside and go for a long walk in nature. Maybe meditate, yoga, do things that are going to ground you. Visualize yourselves growing roots through your feet into the earth and connecting into the core. Just sit in silence for a minute. Just allow everything that's going on within your body, allow the almost energetic sediment to settle in your stillness and see what emerges. We don't ever do that. And then it's almost like you might know that it's something that's trying to reach up inside you, but because you're never stopping and never simmering down, you don't hear it. And then things go wrong and you get ill and you get sick, and you feel lost and confused and stressed and overwhelmed, like that's not natural feelings to be feeling. We shouldn't all be so stressed out and so anxious as we are. So find time this week, find space to just sit in stillness. It's almost like an energetic bath to sit in stillness. It's like a cleanse. It's almost like when you sleep, you do this, you rest and everything goes still, but you're not conscious because you're asleep. We need to almost get this restful state, this stillness whilst we're waking. And it'd be very interesting to see what that does for your energy. We then have karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. Conflict as a result of allowing yourself to be cracked open, as a result of surrendering control, allowing everything to be just as it is, maybe not, not taking on responsibility for other people's stuff. You might find there's conflict that comes about from you being who you really are. Maybe you have a set of belief systems that you've never really shared with people because if the people around you don't agree with them, as you start vocalizing them more because you're allowing yourself to be who you are, perhaps it's causing conflict. That's okay. Some of these relationships might be karmic. They're there to serve you a lesson. They're there to teach you things, but they're not necessarily meant to be forever. Allow things to be as they be. Things do not need to be eternal. Appreciate them whilst you have them. And actually part of that appreciation is knowing that they might not always be there. And if things come to an end, you're grateful for where they are right now. So the other thing that I'm really drawing out to me, if you look at these figures in this card, they're almost like immersed into the earth, rooted into the earth. This is that immersing thing in nature again. It's the balance between being grounded into the earth, but also connecting with your higher self up in space if you would like. You see how it's almost like we've got two earth spheres here, one here and one here. And there's a person there. You're starting to maybe draw people in that are part of your soul tribe. You might be connected to people that literally live on another planet to you, quite literally, like your vibrations, what you believe, your energy, as we all start rooting into our true nature and just being who we are, we might realize people that we thought were on the same page of us are actually on a completely different planet. And that's okay. We need to let them be where they are and let them go. This is a time of great soul growth. I do feel almost like exhaustion and internal struggle with people trying to figure out who they are now and what it means if they allow themselves to be who they're really going to be. I just saw 27 on the clock. So what is that? 2 and 7 is 9. There was a 9-9 portal literally a couple of days ago. So that's not a coincidence. All of this that's coming about is as a result of the 9-9 portal. There's these extra energies maybe helping us unravel, or maybe pushing us to unravel where we've been holding on so tight. There may be some things where we're still holding on tight, but the rope snaps and we have no choice but to be okay with what happens when the control's gone. I just want to pull a few more cards on top of this actually, just to see what comes. I recently got this Sacred Cycles deck, which I actually really quite like. I don't use it all the time, but this morning I knocked it over and I think it's because it wants to come out. It is quite the cards are almost, they have like feminine cycles in it as well, but that doesn't mean it's just for females. But it'd be interesting to see what comes out of this. Can you give us some more information on? Oh, okay. I'm going to take those 3. Thank you. Ooh. Oh God. That awkward laugh was more of an internal thing for me. Okay, we have the season of summer. We have the waning gibbous moon, and we have pregnancy, which is weird. When I first looked at that, I thought it said 2 times pregnancy, but it was the number 28. So each of these cards have a number. So the first number is 15, which is 6. Now, this is quite a new deck, so I probably will read the meaning from it. But intuitively looking at it, can you see how she's submersed into all of the elements? She's submersed into the water. There are plants growing from her skin, and the sun is shining its rays on her. There's something here about the sun. The sun is very big here. The sun's energy is important. We need to get out, immerse ourselves in nature, connect back to our roots, and allow ourselves to be bathed in the sun's light. There's a lot of energy coming from the sun at the moment, and I feel like it's very healing for our body. Interestingly, it looks like her solar plexus and her heart chakra are also highlighted in this, although they're blue. This is interesting. This is very interesting. I want to read this. I'm getting connecting with nature, but let's see what the summer energy is bringing. My gifts are welcome and needed now. Warmth radiates around and within you during the height of the summer season. At the peak point of the Earth's own sacred cycle, there is an abundance of natural beauty to be witnessed all around you. Beautiful farm crops, longer days of sunlight, time spent with loved ones. This is a time of massive expansion and connection. This is a time of massive expansion and connection. Where did I read that a minute ago? I can't remember. I spoke about expanding energy out though. A connection, that was it. There is one that's connection. Yeah, this one, you're not alone. Okay, so this is tying in. Just as the earth provides many offerings for your nurturing and nourishment, you are now being asked to share your own gifts. This is about that being cracked open. You being not who you really are means you've actually been blocking yourself from some of your own gifts and your abundance. And it might take you very, very different places to where you are now. If you've been working on something but have played your cards close to your chest, the time has come for you to show your hand and let others in on the magic you are creating, that element of community. If you're not quite sure what it is you're supposed to be sharing at this time, consider what you have to offer from your heart. Whatever first comes to mind, that is it. There's no need to make it complicated. Let your inner vibrant sunshine illuminate from your heart space. You'll find connection with others from this abundant space of generosity. There is a journal prompt with this if anyone would like to journal on it, which is what does my heart want to share? That is very interesting. This is about us shining our own light when we step into our own true authority. Who are we really? What do we really love? What do we really want to do? As we become more in alignment with ourselves and we strengthen our connection back to our higher selves, we start to unlock new parts of ourselves as well. It's almost like there are parts of us that are hidden because we're not, I don't want to say not deserving, that's not the right word, but it's almost like we can't handle those gifts yet because we haven't accepted all of ourselves yet. And only once we accept new levels of ourselves do we also almost unlock the gifts that come with those. I love that. That was really lovely. 5, waning gibbous moon. What are we getting from this? Let's read this intuitively first. Honouring Mother Nature. This is like a big, I'm not really sure what this is meant to be, but it's almost like a big plant with this sort of glob of light. I don't know what that's supposed to be. There's a naked woman sitting on the earth and she's got a flower coming out of her mouth. It's almost like a prayer. There's also a bird here, which is interesting, which for me is giving me guardian angel vibes. But this is about connecting with nature, getting back to our roots, maybe some of our ancestral roots, some of the ancient wisdom that a lot of us have lost, but there are still tribes and communities around the world that still use this ancient wisdom, still have this ancient wisdom, and still live in a way that their ancestors did. And it's something that we're going to be utilizing more and more because we're going to need it. The flower coming out of her mouth, I'm just hearing speaking your truth into existence, not concealing yourself. The fact that she's naked, not concealing yourself anymore, being comfortable with who you are, naked and raw. This is also the energy of number 5. What am I looking for? 5. I am ready to let go. The waning gibbous moon calls you to begin the process of letting go. Surrender. The vision that you are calling in for your soul's next iteration of growth is so expansive that space must be made for it. There's that expansion thing again. Creating that space begins with releasing control. You may have old habits based on outdated patterns, beliefs, or ways of being. Often these habits have served you, even if their sole purpose was to keep you feeling safe, and have undoubtedly been essential on your journey. The invitation now is to thank them for their service and send them on their way. i.e. when you start stepping into your true nature. If things and people around you start falling apart, that's okay. The space that they were occupying is needed for the new. If you are unsure about what needs to be released, your inner voice will tell you. You can begin this process by simply getting quiet and asking yourself what you're ready to let go of. Just like I spoke about, sitting in silence, creating space for yourself to see what roots itself up. Just like the waning gibbous moon, you are headed towards a time of inward contemplation to help call in further clarity. And again, a journal prompt for those that might like it. What pattern, relationship, belief, or habit can I release to make space for my evolution? That's really beautiful. Again, just echoing the messages that we've already had. And then we have the pregnancy. I was watching Amanda Ellis, who I absolutely love, and she mentioned something about conception being quite a big energy that's coming forward. And I know my reading I did 2 weeks ago spoke about pregnancy energies, but we have pregnancy here again. And when I initially looked, I thought it said 2 times pregnancy. I don't have my glasses on, so when it fell on the floor, I couldn't read it that clearly. But actually, there is 2 people here, and there are 2 babies. So it might be that some people are getting pregnant. I do think there are pregnant energies within around us right now. That's not necessarily physically giving birth, but actually you might be birthing new ideas, new realities, new realms, new versions of yourself, new desires. There's a lot of that creative pregnancy. Isn't just a physical pregnancy. It's, you know, birthing anything new in your life. And it could be new habits, just new ways of being. But equally, it does also relate to the physical, and actually it may be way easier to conceive right now. So if that's not something that you're looking for, maybe just be mindful, making sure that you're being safe, tracking your cycles, using contraceptives if that's what you like to do. And that there may be higher instances of twins at this point is what I'm seeing. There's also a thing here for women about connecting with your womb space. Can you see how it makes like a love heart, the womb? Connecting with the womb space, it's like a powerhouse of energy for women, and it's something that we're never really taught about and we don't understand. And a lot of today's medicines and things, actually our food, our lifestyles, our habits actually really are detrimental for our infradian rhythm, our womb health, etc. So this is something to think about. This is number 28, which brings us to number 10. 10's all about completion, and then breaking down into the number 1, new beginnings. So this is interesting. We're closing out a phase and we're starting a new one. I am open to receiving support. A phase meant to nurture the growth of what is near and dear, something that requires time, energy, and tending. Pregnancy needs an untold and seamlessly... Sorry, I literally can't speak. I'll start that again. A phase meant to nurture the growth of what is near and dear, something that requires time, energy, and tending. Pregnancy needs an untold and seemingly endless number of resources. You're being asked to commit to an endeavor wholeheartedly. Okay, this is asking you to actually commit to you being who you really are wholeheartedly, allowing things to be. An idea, relationship, or project has chosen you to help craft and cultivate it. What an honor to be the channel for this. Allow yourself to trust that you're the best person to bring forth this expression of consciousness. You are so very capable of caring for the people, projects, and dreams in your life that you need your love and attention right now. Why can't I speak all of a sudden? I can't articulate myself. This is very strange. You are so very capable of caring for the people, projects, and dreams in your life that need your love and attention right now, but you don't have to do it all alone. There are many means of supports available to you throughout this experience, so be sure to reach out, letting others know that you're open to receive. This is that community energy again as well. The journal prompt here is, what am I currently nurturing? What could I ask others for help with? This is part of that slowing down as well. You don't need to do all of it. You don't need to do it all alone. Ask for help. Help each other out. And just at the bottom of that deck, we had number 25, number 7, wild one. I love the look of this card. I haven't seen this one before. But again, this is screaming back to me, getting back in tune with nature. We say wild one. We say someone's wild when they just do what they want and they don't conform to rules. But actually, that's not wild. That's just your nature. What's wild is us acting outside of our nature to fit inside a load of rules and boxes that other people have created for us. We need to get back to our wild nature, back into the wild, to our roots. And it almost looks like she's dancing on the fire, actually. There's something here about a fire being lit underneath us. Things are heating up. What is that? The affirmation is, I claim my full expression. This is that being who you really are. The wild one is uninhibited, unencumbered, and weightless, without the judgments and expectations of others anchoring her down. The chains that bind fall away, and freedom is fully expressed. The chains that bind, again, I'm being shown that sort of all that rope being wrapped around your hands, and that you're trying to really hold all these things together. Release them. Truth is the guiding star here, and it permeates every inch, moment, and action. With this internal compass, forward motion is propelled by a desire for authenticity and determination to claim what is most true and real. In a world that encourages sameness for safety at the expense of individuality, this is your sacred call to cast aside that narrative. That's literally what I just said. Do so for the sake of your soul's path. The wild one asks you to choose freedom. Ooh, that makes me feel tickly in the chest. A freedom found in being forthright with declaring who you are in the highest expression of yourself. Deep down, you may have this feeling that something has stayed locked inside you out of concern for what others may think or say should they find out about it. You have the key. You have the courage. You have the inner knowing of the ways your life will bloom and expand when this part of you is set free. So unlock the cage, release the chains, and welcome all of yourself to this experience of life. That is really a beautiful card, and I feel like that's just really summing up the energy of this week and future weeks, but just, this week. Journal prompt for those that would like it. What do I need to release in order to more fully embrace my truest self? Just honestly a perfect card, to be honest with you. I love that. I really, really love that. I think, how are we doing? We're 41 minutes, so I think I'll just leave that there for now. So summarize this week's energy. It's release control, massively surrender vibes, release control, release the aspects of yourself that aren't really who you are and in alignment with who you truly are supposed to be. Release fear. I know that's really easy to say and hard to do. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Release worry or concern about what others will think about you revealing your true self. You might start small and that's okay, but start slowly revealing who you truly are. For some, this might be a completely different personality to what people know. For others, it might just be small things. Whatever it is for you, that's fine. Just start small, really start getting in alignment with who you are. We're not going to be able to exist any longer outside of our own alignment. Slowing down is important, spending time in meditation. Again, releasing that need to keep up with the Jonesies, if you like. I must do this because work needs me to do this, or I must do that so that people think I'm that, and oh God, I can't rest because people will think I'm lazy. And get rid of all these narratives, get rid of what everyone else expects you to do and what you think is expected of you. What do you feel you need right now? What do you need to do? If that's rest, you rest, and you only stop resting when you feel it's time for you to stop resting. And that's not stop resting out of obligation. Oh, I think I should do something. It's been, a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year, whatever it is. Don't worry. If when you sit quietly with yourself, you're being called to rest, that's fine. Keep resting. If it's something else, then it's something else. Do that as well. Whatever it is for you, listen to your body. Release judgment about who you might connect with moving forward. Everyone's sort of delayering, and you'll be surprised actually who's in alignment with you. Don't try to hold on to people that are trying to drift away or that actually are repelled. Their energy repels your true energy. Stop trying to, if it's not meant to happen, it's not meant to happen. And see if you can find ways to honor your own rhythms and get back in touch with nature. How can you slow down? I mean, look to nature lessons. Nature can teach us so many things, and we forget. We've got to a phase where we think we're more advanced in nature, but we need it. So try and honor your own nature. Try and honor actual nature. And for those who don't want to actually get pregnant, maybe just be cautious of this energy that's around. If you do, then you might have extra luck at the moment. So yeah, I really hope you guys have a good week. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, would like to share any experiences, please feel free to do so in my comments. This is a space of love and healing. People who don't resonate with card reading, don't like it, think it's hoo-ha, whatever it is, first of all, you're on a channel that you're out of alignment with. Then if for some reason you then feel compelled to leave a comment that's not adding any value to anybody, or it's just mean, or you think is funny, but actually, you know, it's really not very nice, just because you don't believe in something, I will block you and I will remove it. So you've got better things to do with your time than put energy in spaces where you don't actually align with. So hope everybody has a good week, and thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to probably do these every Monday, and I think I will do them live actually. So yeah, thanks.